All right.
I can't see. Is this?
I don't know if it's running. The
phone.
phone is covering the entire thing. Oh, there's like a little red dot on like the bottom of the obs. Recording.
Hey, it's Ivan and Eric back again with another nameless podcast. It's been a while, but that's what we're here for. We're going to catch up and talk shit as two white guys in a basement now.
Nice.
We've really come
I had
full
to move into my
circle.
mom's basement, and you know, you're gonna stand up the corn. You're gonna stand up the aluminum corn. Ah!
It's like 9/11 all over again.
Oh no! What?
All right, so that was the thing I was going to say about the podcast. Because editing, I go so hard on it.
I know.
I think what we need to do is, like, if we're about to say something that could be, like, too much of a problem, we just move on and quick ADHD swap it. 'Cause, like, I want to raw send this thing right out to the people.
Okay.
Which is hard.
So you want to bring editing down to a minimum.
Yes, because I would
Okay.
spend, like, 16 hours and it would come out to be, like, 45 minutes of footage, but I'd be, like, doing zoom in and zoom outs, which is meant for your clips channel, which... I haven't started that yet. I have a lot of things in the
think we
works.
should shoot out the raw and then like a week later pump out the clips.
Yes, just so it like has a little bit of a promo, and then the whole Patreon edition thing. What the, there we go.
Yeah,
Okay, we're good.
we're good. We're birds.
All right, so big events in this past month.
Yeah, I haven't
What's
seen
going
you
on?
since like 2 weeks before the Spider-Man movie released, which was which I now my life has been split into two. It is pre Across the Spider-Verse versus post Across the Spider-Verse
Until March 29th of 2024, which is going to be pushed back.
I know,
But
I'm so
my
happy
hopes
they
are
had a
high.
day though.
Which means everyone was arguing well, they're not going to have it done. It took them 5 years to get this one out, and it took them 3 years to animate one character. And it was just like, but here's the thing: they have the algorithm, and why the fuck would they make this entire 2-hour long movie just for them to be like, oh, we don't know where the next one's going to go. We have to go hold the whole storyboard again. They have it done.
They're not going to start from square one. They just got to follow through.
It's like most of the Lord of the Rings, like the Hobbit movies or the John Wick movies, where they finish shooting number 3 and they're continuing to shoot number 4 as they finish it. They just sent it to production and they started editing it while they got more footage for the next movie. Like it was one after the next.
Yeah.
So they have, I'm going to say 75 personally without any information or any research.
With no knowledge of the animating or filming industry.
No knowledge whatsoever. I just think that they have 75% of it ready to go, and the rest is just those final touches where you got to make sure everything looks perfect, everything's running smoothly, all your Easter eggs are put in there, everything is to the T. Mm-hmm. Because god damn it, they topped the first movie.
So good.
I got so many feelings, the relationship between Gwen and Miles. I don't know why, but that hits so hard for me.
Really?
Just having someone that is different in a way that is the same as you with the is the same with you with the with issues, but it's also it just, I don't know, that young lost romance thing, it just that sat with me, and it was just and it's Spider-Man based, so I was everything about this is calling my name, and then the music they put into it, literally the song when they are introduced back to each other is called I'm Calling. And I'm like, god damn it. And then all of Gwen's music, when the whole movie, obviously I liked it because I saw it 6 times, 3 in theaters and then 3 extra times on
Illegally,
TikTok
yeah.
Live. Yeah, because people are crazy, and I didn't choose to watch it because I didn't click on the live, it just showed up. So really, TikTok's illegal fault for me.
Hey, you're just taking...
Yeah.
Right?
If I found $10 on the street, I'm not paying taxes on that.
Yeah.
fuck
I'm
that.
not claiming that. Fuck you, CRA.
Bent. Don't come after me for whatever 13% that is. 13. That's $1.30.
$1.30 of that
That's
$10.
how math works.
Uh-huh.
As a framer, I only have to square things. No, I don't just square things. Actually, yes. It's all about triangles and squares.
Triangles and squares?
Yeah.
Which, a triangle is just a half square, really.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, my buddy's trying to... Actually, so you said that Tony, my buddy Tony, is your replacement. He's not my replacement for you. I guess he's my Kitchener-Waterloo, Eric.
I'm so happy. Well, you have to. You're important when there are versions of you in versions of me in different parts of your life. Sometimes I think like, man, Ivan hasn't talked to me in 3 weeks. I know that I'm just being replaced by Tony or like some gay ginger kid or like just there's a lot of different versions. I am I'm Spider-Man. And you're just visiting different versions of me.
Okay. Because I was about to whip out the this universe's one and only Spider Framer. And that's how it's going to be. The traumas in my life have been my canon events as to where it has led me today.
I'm barely Spider Ham. I don't know.
Just whipping shit out of your pockets and just fucking corn on the cob. Squishy little motherfucker here.
We also got, when Emma and I received the corn on the cob, we also got 2 little potatoes because the company that we got them from does a lot of genetics sequencing for fertilizers and farm production.
Okay.
Which is weird. And I like it. That's why we have those.
Also, they're like GMO people?
Oh,
that's a topic.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
I'm not against GMOs.
I am all for GMOs. I'm all for GMOs. I'm all for TikTok. I'm all for climate change. I'm all for abortion.
What do you mean? Okay, wait. There's a few of those that were like, I kind of understand. And then you're like, TikTok and then abortion. I'm like, wait, or what do you mean?
I'm all for Islam. I'm all for Jerusalem.
I support
I'm all for
everything to an extent.
I'm all for...
Eric's about to say the N-word right now, and I am not cutting this out.
Can we get a button made by a black person that's like a "This is easy" button, but when you press it, just says
no. Oh fuck! Did you see the art? There was it's one of the places where people go to display art.
Museums,
kind of
art shows,
ish,
galleries.
Yes, a gallery, and it's this guy, and he's on TV. And it's like a show, and I keep seeing it on TikTok because it's so funny. And it says "big button in a white room," and the guy's like, "Should I press it?" Because it's a big red button. It just says "press" in front of it.
Oh yes.
And then the woman who's there, she's like, "Oh, why would you press it? That's kind of like why would you listen to someone else? Like, why would you listen to do something
this
it's telling you to do?"
art piece. Yeah,
He's like, "I'm just gonna do it." And she's like, "Don't do it. You're falling into the system." And the guy's like, "I'm just going to press the button." She's like, "Fine, do it." And he presses it and just yells the N-word in an open room full of people. And they both were like, "Who made this? Who put this here?" And I thought it was like a voiceover because like some people would just cut it.
Yeah.
But they straight up, after they pushed the button, were just like terrified of this thing. Like they just committed a hate crime. But it was like,
it's a hate crime by proxy.
Like, yeah, that's a hate crime of like, how do you accidentally say the N-word? That is how.
That is how.
You don't accidentally just be like, stub your toe and then yell it. It's like, you hit a button that just apparently says it, but just says press. It was a well done video.
Oh, that's so good.
Don't do it. I'm going to do it. Shit. Yeah, so
we were talking on the phone for 2 minutes before you left to go get burgers.
Yeah.
And I said something, and you said, "Hold on, I'm going to save it for the podcast. I've got a story about this, but I can't remember what I said, and I don't know what you were going to tell the story about."
Okay, so if I'm going to recall this, it was I called you saying, "Hey, I'm just leaving. Would you like a burger?" You said, I just ate a burger. I just ate. I'll have one for dinner, though. I said, "Okay, cool." And then you're saying something about the setup.
Yeah, I said I didn't set anything up because I wanted you to look at the space and set it up the way that you wanted to.
I do recall the situation because I just don't remember what it was about. Did it work?
No.
I knew what you were going for. I don't remember. Yeah. So I blew up again on TikTok on my 6th account. So obviously I started getting my followers back. But the thing I hate about it is it was a video that shows how it was me being rough at work and not doing a good job.
Yeah.
And it's like as if the video of me being shit at my job was the one that blows up again. And I'm like, cool. So now all the new faces who are coming into the account are like, oh, he's just an idiot. No, it's a bunch of... In one day, it hit 4 million views, which was amazing. But also, 4 million, half of those are like the... I do trim carpentry. This is garbage work. You should have been better. You're trash and you're a hack.
Nice.
And
I wish I had haters.
yeah, these haters are fucking relentless. They're the, like I say, the fatherless alpha males that are looking for attention from another man to understand that they're closeted gay men.
Yes.
Yeah. So I get comments. So the video itself is me on the roof. And there's this little 3-inch triangle just poking off the side of it.
That's a big triangle.
A little 3-inch triangle of an 8-foot sheet. So out of 96 inches, 3 inches of that is sticking out. And I'm like, well, my buddy's got the saw. I'm going to record me chipping at it with my hammer because I'm good at it.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, I got this nice little hammer. I'm going to square out a line to like make sure it's perfect. And I'm like, all right, this is how you do it this is how you do it It tried.
Yeah, it's just trying. I gotta wake it up. I don't know.
Yeah, so I was like, I'm gonna do this like the professional I am.
Mm-hmm.
And I whip out my handy dandy hammer and I start chipping at it really good. Pretty fucking straight line. For using a hammer, chipped it perfect right on the hip, and I was like, plain smooth over. It looked like it was chipped with a hammer, but also it was very clean for being chipped with a hammer. So I was like, that's how you do it like a pro. And every fucking trades guy and their dog was commenting, that's why you have leaks in the house, and that is why the house is going to be garbage. And I was like, you're a bunch of fucking morons if you think the sheets is what stops the water. If you trades guys are trying to tell me that I'm ass at my job, get the information right. Whereas the main comment I would get is, it looks like shit. And I'm like, that's cool. Are you going to tell the shingler that? That's going to cover it up anyways with a corner sheet of shingle? And then the next major comment was, it's going to put leaks in the house. Why is my house leaking? It's like, once again, the sheets are to hold the shingles on.
The shingles are waterproof.
That's what the water bounces off of. And everyone's just like, well, then you're just bad at your job, trying to back up their own, like, well, I think you're shit at your job. And I prove them wrong, and they're like, well, you're still bad. And I'm like, oh, you're cute. I'm glad you got the attention you wanted today. I started putting the kissy face emoji up there just to be like...
I was just about to say, do you have a go-to emoji where you drop, like, the donkey emoji or the ladle emoji or something crazy
just
like
something
that?
Out there that kind of gets them wondering. But I'm like, I act... Because, like, people who are that, like stubborn and stuck as a tradesperson are typically homophobic. Nice. So I start flirting with them in my comments. Because how do you get a homophobic trades guy to leave you alone? You hit on them, because what are they going to respond with? A hateful hate comment? They're not that full forward to do that.
Yeah.
They'll comment being like, "Oh, you're gay?" Like,
yeah.
What if I was? Like, are you scared? Is it gonna catch you? Are you scared? Is it gonna catch you? It's just, and there were a lot of people that, because like it hit 4 million views and over 1,800 comments in a day. So for me to go through every comment personally and be like, here's why you're wrong, I'm gonna mix and repeat and say the exact same shit again.
Yeah.
I had people that were coming in being like, I am an experienced person in this field, this is perfectly fine, because everyone's like, why don't you just go grab a saw, why don't you get the actual tool to do the job? And it was just like, because it was a 3-inch square and I could just bash it off with a hammer, and it's still not gonna do anything structural to the house.
Yeah.
The entire 4-unit building that is over 80 feet long is not going to be affected by a 3-inch triangle that is still nailed everywhere else but that 3-inch area. And even then, it's still nailed across the hip. Mm-hmm. Well, saw would have been a cleaner cut. I'm like, who's the clean cut for? The shingle's going to go over it. I could leave a fucking 1.5 inch gap on that line. Mm-hmm. And the roofer would be like, shingle. Like, I don't know why you're mad at me. Like, it's, and they're like, well, it's the morality of taking pride in your work and being good at your job to see that finished product. And it's like, the finished product gets covered up, right? Like, even on inspection, the inspector's going to look at even a 1/2 inch gap and be like, Shingler's got shit for that, and they just slide pieces in. Like,
Yeah, it's not it's not a Princess and the Pea situation.
yeah,
right?
I'm not a trim framer. If I took the time to do to the millimeter on my work, no one would hire me. They'd be like,
Yeah.
oh, it looks good, but because of your hourly rate and how long it takes you to do shit, it's triple my cost now.
So I used to work at assembling military vehicles, putting like 10,000 pound plates on $20 million machines. And there's this huge, so when you take off the plate of a military vehicle, there's like 95 pegs where you place shims on. So the armor sits perfectly onto it.
So it's not like out of squared at all.
It's not out of square. The guy who
perfectly in
comes
there.
in has like this caliper that it gets it down to like a perfect level.
Oh,
and if it's not,
yeah.
the nanometer or something
Yeah, where it's got the
stupid.
tiny little pins and it
Yeah,
tells you an
fucking
exact
ridiculous.
rating to like 5 decimal places.
Which is way too much. And so we placed this on. We got all like the little ring shim things that are like super little or super thick, and you put them all there, and then some asshole shows up, and this guy was measuring it one day, and I was working with this old, disheveled, like, I say old, he was probably like 35, but he looked 1,000.
Old enough.
Old enough. And the guy was like, hey, you didn't put enough shims in this. It's off by how much? And the guy I was working with was like, how much is it off by? Do you want to show me with your fingers how much it's off by? And the inspector was like, you're going to hate me, but it's this far off. And he said, that's how big your dick is. I quit, and he left, and we never saw him again. So I get that.
Oh, I appreciate that. That's the type of like
I wish there was an amazing quality where you could say anything that you wanted to somebody and they wouldn't be affected by it. Like they were deaf for a second, and you could be like, we're gonna get eaten by the sun, or we're gonna get struck by an asteroid in like 600 years, and no one's ever gonna remember this, and no one's ever gonna remember you. So why are you arguing with me about $4? Okay?
Yeah.
What are you doing? I have a lot of emotions right now.
I understand that, especially when you said the GMO stuff. I get. Oh. So Joe never watches these, but if he ever does one day, because he realizes I'm actually worth talking to and listening to after work, but whatever.
Clip it. Send it to him.
A little shit.
Send it to his lover.
He doesn't. I'll send it to his mom. It's the only one he talks to, even though he's avoiding her.
Come on, Joe. Talk to your mom.
Yeah. So, the conversation of GMOs and like genetically altered like foods and stuff, it's like if you can modify food to be healthier, bigger, and easier to grow, why would you not do it? The aspect of natural is like, well, if it's unnatural, it'll give us cancer. I'm like, everything in your life does anyways. The air you currently breathe has carcinogens in it.
Like Hank Green said, what gives you cancer? Cancer treatment.
Yeah.
Everything gives you cancer. Even the thing that takes away cancer is
chemo,
giving you
yeah.
cancer.
Yeah, the radiation. Oh, it's going to fuck up more cells. Wow.
The
Who would've
chemotherapy medication, one of the side effects may cause cancer.
I honestly didn't know that, but hearing that now makes me kind of frustrated.
Yeah.
Do you know Hank Green's got cancer, right?
Yeah, that's why I said it.
Okay.
He's been posting a lot of like pro-cancer stuff.
Yeah.
Not pro-cancer as in like
He's like cancer.
I love it.
It's like we could do this.
Pro-cancer
We could
research
make
stuff.
It. Yeah, and it's just I love seeing him on TikTok whenever he comes up with like all of his conversations and stuff. But now that I see him wearing the bandana, I want to cry because it's like it's Hank fucking Green out of every soul. Why him? And I 100% blame the government for that because he started. What is it called? It's free education for people who are looking for it.
Yeah. Something University.
Yeah.
Crash University.
Crash University.
Yeah, because he does
something like
Crash
that.
Course.
Yes. And it's free education and people can actually earn degrees on it and like you don't really have to pay to go to it. And the system that we live in is like, no, we're going to charge you your fucking life to go to school because that debt will stay with you. And if not, it'll affect everything in your everyday life. Because I actually watched a thing. yesterday about Joe Biden, who through the Supreme Court shut down his student debt relief program.
I love Joe Biden.
And it made me angry because it was like the Supreme Court was like, we're going to shoot down this bill that will relieve $10,000 off of people's student loan debts. So it like, and they're like, oh, it's such a small amount. Why do we have to care? And it's like $10,000 for a person with student loan debt is a lot.
Insane. I have $42,000 student loan debt.
I thought I had it bad.
I haven't even started school. I will be
bonkers.
I haven't been accepted to university again because I had to drop out, but I'm waiting for an acceptance letter to go into year 1 of university, and I have $42,000 of student. I haven't even gone.
See, once again, I blame the government for that. They were just like, you signed a bunch of papers? Here's $40,000.
Hey,
and they let it happen.
Hank Green is the equivalent of the guy who made like the car engine that
Out
could
of
run on water.
Yeah. You don't hear about him anymore because he's dead.
George Carlin has an amazing joke where it's like, assassination is crazy. Do you know all the people that were assassinated? It was everybody who promoted free speech and that we should all live together happily.
Yep.
Boom.
Gone.
Abraham Lincoln, relieve the slaves, dead. Fucking, it's the best.
Yeah, so that's why I got really upset when I saw that Hank Green got cancer. I was like, that was the government. That was the big bags.
Oh, for sure.
Fuck.
I know, it's mad. Do you want to change topics?
Yeah.
So I'm starting to develop this. It's not going to be like a thesis paper, but it's a litmus test for idiots.
Okay.
Wait,
in what regard of idiots? Like, it's like for them to take the test to see if they are an idiot, or is it like a scale? Or?
It's a way for you to immediately tell if somebody's an idiot. So this evolved from my litmus test for racist, which is if you call a white guy a honky and he gets offended, he's racist. If he's like, I ain't no honky, it's like, yeah, buddy, we get it. It's
your
like
belt buckle's bigger than 2 inches. You're a fucking honk.
Right? If you call him a cracker, he's like, what'd you say to me? It's like literally nothing.
That's not even anything.
Yeah, no, it's
like,
nothing.
Stop trying to make it into the N-word for white people. It's not.
It's not. So my litmus test for stupid people is a collection of questions that if they answer correctly, they're an idiot. The first one is, can you fight a bear?
No.
Boom, you're not an idiot.
Sorry, wait. Can you? Yes. Will I win? No.
Will you win against a bear?
No.
No. There's no way you could possibly win against a bear. Oh my
God, just the dumbest people.
The second one is, do you think you could land a plane? If you were in a commercial flight.
No, not a commercial plane.
Commercial plane. I'm not talking like a biplane.
Yeah, small
Harrison
aircraft.
Ford can land a plane. He's like 1,000 years old.
Yeah.
So can you land a plane?
Not a commercial, no.
Not a commercial plane.
No. Obviously, nothing bigger that doesn't fit more than one person.
Yeah.
If it's one person and it's a glider kind of thing, sure. But
sure. You can
commercial
try your
plane?
best.
No.
Right? You can find water. You can do something like that.
Like by land, you mean like rough? Yeah. Crash it, kill everybody? Probably.
Yeah.
Will it hit the ground? Yes.
And then another one that I just came up with at the beginning of this was, what was your last TikTok comment?
My last TikTok comment?
Yeah. What was the last time you commented on a TikTok and what did you say? Last
thing I commented on TikTok. Ooh, it was some fucking white guy in the States trying to say that his comment was under my friend. They live in Florida. They are in witchcraft.
Oh, witchy weighty.
Yeah, and she posted a comment saying it was the government shooting down this guy who had transitioned into a guy.
Okay.
So they were up on stage saying their point that the government is causing the issues where he cannot go into a different gendered restroom, and then also vice versa because they're considered trans, so they don't have anywhere to pee. And they're like, I've had my life threatened because I was trying to use this restroom.
Right.
And then my friend comments, yeah, it's so weird how the government is so obsessed with seeing people's genitalia to prove who you are. Like, why do you need to see my dick or vagina to tell me where I can pee?
Yeah.
You don't need to look at it. That's why we have stalls. That's why we have urinal separators. And this, so she says, why do they want to look at her genitalia? And this guy says, well, honestly, the worst part about it is they're trying to fight it so that like our first graders aren't being like having these ideologies put into their minds.
Right,
It's just,
over-sexualized.
like the ideologies of gay people existing and people of other not straightness. Like,
Yeah.
so obviously, like, she sent it to me saying, "Hey, do you want to like fucking hop in here and maybe say something as a white straight guy to be like, hey, you're an idiot."
Yeah.
Like, absolutely, I'll fucking send this guy to like,
Let's go.
yeah. So I went in there and I was just like, the ideology of gay people existing is not an ideology; it's a real fact, and you need to to assume that it's hard to say because there's a lot of words.
Right.
And the basis of it was me saying there are more ideologies of the government wanting to push straight and white Christian like ideologies than there are telling people that gay people exist. Just because they're vocal about it now is because their lives are being threatened. The original video was someone having their life threatened because they weren't like someone, not even a government official, some random guy was like, you can't go in there after his wife went into the women's restroom. He's like, you can't go in there. And like, okay, I'm going to go to the men's because I'm a man. And they went towards the men's. And he said, you can't go in there either because you are not a man.
Who is this? Who is this guy who's just like, I have all the authority to tell people where they can or cannot go?
It's like, I'll piss on the floor right now if you want me to. Like, I'll go piss in a fucking corner if you want.
I'll pop
You're
a
gonna
squat.
smell it every time you walk in and out of that door. It's not going anywhere.
Boom.
That's for you. And like, the guy was just like, well, my basis of what I was getting at was saying, if you are not actively trying to like support these people, even in the slightest way, even if just acknowledging it is actively supporting it.
Right.
But by sitting back and ignoring it is being arrogant and ignorant to a problem that doesn't directly affect you, so it's not your problem. But it's like people are literally fucking dying at the hands of other people in society because that's what they're told to do.
Right.
And it's like, who are you? And he's like, you seem to be taking a moral, like you seem to be seem to assume yourself in a superior position. I said, yes, because I am understanding that everyone has rights, and you are ignoring the fact of saying it's because it's the ideology that I don't support, that they're teaching it to first graders. If they teach that mommy and daddy are married, that is an ideology in that regard, because you were like, it's hypocrite, like, the hypocrisy. And it makes me angry because you can't fight stupid, because he just kept arguing a stupid point.
Because we have this timeline of dominance where if something is older, that means it's better. The social construct of the old social construct of man, woman, marriage, boom. Don't get me wrong. Fucking love monogamous marriage. Love marriage to any like long-term capacity. It's great for childhood development.
Right.
But now that we have newer social constructs, those social constructs don't fall lower on the dominance hierarchy of constructs just because they're new, just because they've shown up. Now you can argue because they are new, they're not tested for long-term society, but we don't know how it's going to be tested for long-term greater society if we don't test that shit out.
If you keep suppressing it, you don't get the statistics of what you're trying to get. You're just trying to only have the one type. You're only trying to have this one thing that you're like, what's good right now? Why do we got to change it? Because society is built on improvement. It's on like innovation. It's like advancing as a species. If I do better with someone with the same gender, why is that a problem?
Right.
If we work together and raise a better kid than your piece of shit that you're going to raise and abuse, I feel like I'm winning by far.
You are.
For sure.
You are. 100%.
I just, and that was the most recent comment that I left, other than my responses to the shitheads on my videos. Because every time it's just like, now it's just a bunch of like filtered people coming in saying my roof's going to be leaky. So I just have to copy and paste in there, just being like, it's not how that works.
That's not how that works.
The shingles take care of it.
Yeah, it's fine.
The sheets do fuck all, except put the have a spot for the shingles to go onto. And they're like, nah. I'm done. I can't stand those people.
Yeah.
There was one person. This one killed it because I chuckled as soon as I saw it. He put a smiley face and said, "You're stupid. I'm reporting your video." And I'm like, ha ha. He's not going to see it because I responded with, ha ha. I guess I'm blocking you with a question mark. And I just fucking blocked him. I took a video of me doing the process because I'm like, no one's going to see it because I fucking blocked him.
Right.
All the messages are going to be gone. But I'm just like, oh no. What am I going to do without that single person on my video? If it gets reported, they actually pay attention to me now. So they're going to look at it and be like, no, this is fine. Yeah. Oh, God, I'm reporting your video. Guess you're blocked then. Sorry. Yeah, it's like make a new account and go for it. I'll do the same.
Mm-hmm.
I have no issue with doing it for the 7th, 8th plus time.
Right.
What else is...
So I found out how to talk to old people.
How to talk to old people?
How to talk to old people.
Like you yell, right?
Well, yeah. You crouch down. You're like, hello. So
hello.
so there's this amazing woman that comes in every morning. She's a little Italian woman named Linda, and she comes in, and every morning she's got like cool things to say. She's in like a pretty loveless marriage. But,
What an old person thing.
Well, she always, kind of, yeah, because old people don't think that they can grow within their relationship, because it takes a lot of change and it takes a lot of like conversation for relationships to grow. It's like, I'm already on the back nine. Like,
why would I do that?
Why would I change to become better? So I always give her like advice on how relationships work. And like, I work with, I think I might, when I grow up, become a psychotherapist, because they work on... Just be gay. Easy peasy. Which she probably has like a lot of repressed homosexual tendencies. Right. Just because she looks like a little dyke. And psychotherapists, they take your big problems and they make them little problems that are so little that you can deal with them.
Okay.
And so, a big problem that I had was old people would always come up to me and be like, did you hear about that shooting in Texas and how they were shooting people and so many people died?
Did you pray for them?
And it's so sad. It's the saddest. It's always sad. Whenever you talk to old people, it's always super sad. So my response now, and I practice this with the new, amazing, incredible blessing that we've received, which was the billionaires killed in that submarine.
I'm on the same page. I will not disagree with that.
So Linda came up to me and she said, "Did you hear about this? Like the tragedy in that submersible?" And I said, "Incredible, like terminology. You knew it wasn't a submarine. You knew it was a submersible." And I said, "Well, Linda, did you hear about the conspiracy on that?"
Okay.
So
really dragged her in for a fucking...
Well, that's what I got to do. So what you got to do is when you're responding, when old people are telling you about all the sad shit in your life, you tell them, you follow up with a conspiracy, because a conspiracy is news. Old people love news.
Yeah.
A conspiracy is sad, but also a little scary. Old people love that shit. And 3, you're talking to them. So you combine all of those and you say, well, did you know that one of the billionaires on the submersible was actually about to go into the Supreme Court for embezzling? For billions of dollars of embezzling? That's true, by the way.
And then they get into that
and they're like, really? So it's something they can go home and like search, and it's like, it's true, because like
it's a pastime. It's something they get now. They can chew on it.
So, and it's like, it's just close enough to facts that you don't have to lie to an old person, because that's rough, and they remember that.
But it still sounds so bizarre that they're like, I have to look into this.
So, yeah, I said, did you know that it was actually, he faked his own death?
Oh,
the submersible doesn't exist.
I honestly thought that entire thing about the submersible was that it was just so they would fake their own death. Not because that was my original thought. I'm like, someone's going to make a documentary about this, and they're going to make a movie after that, and it's going to be like, they're going to end up not down at the bottom of the ocean. The submarine's going to be there, but they'll be found on an offshore island with the funds that they have, living a good life while everyone is still worried that they're dead. But it's going to end off with like...
But that's true. That's true. There's some billionaire sitting on an island in Cabo, sipping a martini, like, fucking, we got him, buddy. Woo! But another thing is, so do you know everybody who was on the submersible before it
Only
imploded?
The billionaire.
Well, billionaire, a couple engineers, but... So the submersible went under on Father's Day. This is important to the story because one of the engineers was going down and he was a father.
Okay.
So his son said, "Hey, Dad, can I join you on this so we can spend Father's Day together?"
Yeah.
And the father said, "Absolutely. Let's hop on this." Do you know the soul-crushing silence from the teenage son talking to the engineer, or like sitting in the same tiny cramped submersible as the engineer, being like, I didn't even want to fucking do this, Dad. And now we're in the bottom of the fucking sea. We didn't even see the Titanic. And now we're going to implode and you're going to fucking die. And it's like, oh, I just want to hang out with Jessica. This Father's Day sucks.
And now the dad has to die with that.
Yeah.
I thought that was going in the other.
Fucking good.
I thought it was going to be going in the other direction of the sense to being like, oh my God, Dad, who do we kill and eat first? Because they're like, it started off with like 72 hours worth of oxygen or something like that.
Yeah.
And then someone, I hate that all of the things I think about in my head and never talk about always get talked about like immediately the next day. Because I watched a TikTok of this girl being like, I saw this video of this person who was talking about it. Theoretically, if you have 72 hours worth of oxygen for 5 people, if you kill 4 of those people, you have 5 times the amount of oxygen, theoretically. You do have the bodies and dead, decaying, and now decomposing, and feces-ridden now bodies with you, but you have more time if it didn't implode, which was an instant kill.
So, you get a win-win there.
Yeah.
Because now you don't just have dead bodies, you also have food. So,
yes.
Boom pow. 2 birds, 1 stone.
I don't want to get into it, but I also want to, out of curiosity. It will be like a 5-second segment.
I've got a killing baby Hitler joke after this. So.
Okay, sick. Cool.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Speaking of eating and then decomposing human bodies, are you able to eat human raw, or do you have to cook it?
I think you're under the same like effects that like eating raw chicken has, where like you can, but you're gonna feel like a little queasy after.
Okay,
I'm not sure. You'd have to ask a cannibal.
That's what I want. I don't want any more. I don't like this topic.
Yeah, neither do I.
So this joke.
Killing baby Hitler. God, I wish I was able to give comedians credit for the incredible amount of stand-up that I consume. But there's this joke that I heard where it's like, I don't think I could kill baby Hitler. Just like I go back in time, I don't think I could kill a baby. Teenage Hitler, though? That kid's going down.
Shit,
Yeah.
Yeah, there's an age limit where like, I don't think I could kill a baby. But an angsty adolescent? Absolutely.
Oh my God. So there's this kid who comes to the gym, and he's amazing. He's like 17 or 18 years old. And he comes in, he swipes in, we see him, we're like, hey, buddy. And he doesn't make eye contact. He doesn't say hello. And then he comes in, and then 5 minutes later he leaves, and he's like, hey, I forgot something in my car. I'll come back. Do I have to swipe it? We say no. So he goes out to his car. He's out there maybe 10, 15 minutes, comes back in, ripped as shit.
Oh, so he's
hot boxes the whole car. So he's working out high, but he comes back in. We're like, hey, how's it going? He's like, okay.
You know,
and he just fucking stumbles in. He's easily one of my favorite people. Easily.
Oh, God.
Well, that's just because, like, I have this hierarchy of my favorite people who come to the gym, and one of them recently had a heart attack, so I gotta like bump him down a few pegs just because I haven't seen him recently.
It's like, you've lost the social standing in that point. You're down the leaderboard.
Attendance keeps it up, right? You gotta show that face time.
This is why we have attendance in school to show that being cool does count for attendance.
Mm-hmm. So I did ask my. Okay. Sister-in-law is my wife's sister.
Sister-in-law is my wife's sister, yes.
Yeah. So I asked my 14-year-old sister-in-law, Miguel O'Hara Smasher Pass, and she looked at me in the fucking eyes and said, why would you... I'm a child. And I was like, I don't care, smash or pass.
Are you fucking an animated character?
Are you fucking... And she was like, 1... You know I'm probably a lesbian, but 2, he's got huge daddy issues. Like, what? Why am I gonna hang out with this depressed buff guy? Like, I don't care. Just like fucking. You're right, but I don't want you to be right because. So I told you about Groot, right?
Groot?
Did we talk about Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3?
No, I haven't watched it yet.
God, don't fucking watch it.
You said it was sad. That's all.
It was so sad. So it was. If you want, when Guardians of the Galaxy 3 comes out, I will purchase it, and then I'll edit it into the 35 minutes of funny, cool, uplifting jokes that it is, and cut out the 3-ish hours of the saddest shit you've ever seen. fucking children dying, animals dying, fucking. They have a scene where they're in heaven, and Rocket's like, can I come with you to heaven? And his girlfriend is like, not yet. You got stuff to do. And he's like, no. It is insanely sad. But you have young adult Groot, who's like thick.
Oh right, he's built in this one.
Yeah, he's built, and like you also see like adult Groot, where he's like big tree guy. And so when I was leaving the theater, Emma was like, I don't know what about it, but like Groot was kind of hot in this one, and I was like, the tree,
the humanoid tree.
And she was like, yeah, I don't know why. And I was like, please, you have to tell me specifically so I can change to be like that.
What part of I am Groot got you going?
Right? Why? What a part of the 6 words, spoilers, that he can say got you going. And it was just like, his presence was kind of... his presence was big. He took up a lot of space. It was like, yeah, he's a fucking tree! So... after I dealt with that like 2 weeks of frustration after watching the worst movie I've ever seen, and I've seen bad movies, we went to go see Across the Spider-Verse.
Right.
And she then, we were leaving the theater, and she said, you know Miguel O'Hara? And I was like, you better fucking say what I hope you're saying. She was like, kind of hot, right? And I was like, bitch, I don't know how I got out of here. I'm slip sliding all over. and then I was like, what specifically? So yeah. A handful of words are keeping my relationship together. Specifically, exactly, and all one word, talk to me.
Okay.
So she then described in great detail why Miguel O'Hara is the most fuckable character out of the entire Across the Spider-Verse thing, and it was super helpful for my relationship.
Oh, good. I'm glad that Into the Spider-Verse gave you that insight into how to make the relationship better.
Well, it's just like she's on the younger side, so she's like still discovering all of these cool things, and I want to be able to like, I don't want to waste any time with this shit. If I gotta develop that Dorito V-taper,
then that's what you gotta do,
right? And learn like pop up Duolingo to get some fucking Spanish going.
Just doing wing spreads all day, just getting your lats crazy.
Just lateral raises and pull downs. That's it. Just get the widest back possible.
Speaking of like the fuckable characters into the Spider-Verse, hot take that I got from a friend I made off of Instagram. It's Amber the Valkyrie, and she's like, you know what Spot? That's the fuckable one. I'm like,
Bagel guy
who's slouched over and awkward as shit. And she's like, yeah, that's kind of
all right. So
he's the guy. I'm like,
so
that's so odd.
So there's this fun concept within that we're starting to develop because of like the wide access to a lot of people, right? I could right now see more naked women than the richest king in all of the world would ever see in their entire life. Like in like 3 minutes, I could see all the naked women I wanted. But now we have these incredible like studies on hyperfixation within, for example, if a lot of women like one guy, that one guy is more desirable, even if he's not desirable as a person.
But because the amount of people that find desire in him means he is the desirable.
Just because it's hard to obtain something doesn't mean it's worth it. But something that's worth it will always be hard to obtain.
Yes.
Full example is the wet cigarette that is Pete Davidson. Not a good person, not attractive at all.
Really fucking unfunny looking.
Really, it's just...
But because everyone wants to fuck him, he became more desirable.
He becomes fuckable.
And there was this big thing when Taylor Swift like broke it off with like her like 6-year-long relationship. Everyone was like, "Oh, here comes Pete Davidson."
Here comes Pete Davidson and the best album you've ever heard.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just trying to keep my... Do you like my background?
I do.
I'm prepared to get wet. Be prepared to get wet. I love how it's properly capitalized because the T is little, but the B and prepared and to get and the wet are all properly capitalized.
BPGW. Big penis. And
I can see why the spot is. I can see why the spot is fuckable, just because like he's a fixer upper, like he's super knowledgeable and like he's a scientist, right?
Yeah.
He builds the collider and all of that stuff.
It was just such an odd take that everyone was like simping over like Miguel or being like, oh man, Gwen in this one is legal, and everyone's like, oh.
See, legality is a weird thing because if you gotta wait for them to be legal,
yeah,
if you're sweating over the starting line, like, oh my god, this arbitrary day is about to pass, and then we can have sex with them.
You remember
Millie Bobby Brown?
No, the baby, no, or little baby, bad baby,
bad Barbie.
Yeah, no, bad baby.
Bad baby. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
it's Catch Me Outside.
Yeah. Oh, how about that?
You remember the day she turned 18?
She started an OnlyFans
immediately,
and now makes like $1 million a month.
The first day she made $1 million. The first day she became legally 18 and had the OnlyFans, she had everyone rushing in. It was like, you had over how many people just waiting for that young puss? That's fucking weird. That should have been looked into.
I believe in equal opportunity for everyone, but men and women are not equal.
Okay.
Because if I post my Cash App to my fucking Instagram, I will get a notification in my DMs from, I don't know, anyone being like, yo, bro, what the fuck is this needy shit?
Yeah, why you being bitch ass hoe here? Go outside and make
money. Right? Go get a job. Go fucking work. But if freaking bad Boobala can make millions of dollars
by showing a titty, like,
we're not equal. We're not. That's just how it is.
I'm gonna change the status quo.
Please be the in that all of actually. Well, that's my fucking problem with you, is you're attractive, right?
Okay.
You're a fucking 10, and you're saying that you're gonna like change the status quo for people, but like you're just being a 10.
But I would
That's
make
your deal.
Funny porn, not just regular. Oh man, you stuck step. Bro.
yeah. It's going to be a difficult financial decision for me to make. It's going to be easy. It's going to be quick. But it's just going to be like, who do I show that to?
Anybody.
Who do I...
If I'm willing to put my dick online, that's for anybody.
Do you know how many friends I have?
Enough.
Let me get my mirror. I'll show you all the friends I have. You look in it and you're like, oh, there he is. Yeah, like... So I will not be offended if Emma does subscribe to your OnlyFans. I won't be.
As long as it's using your credit card.
Yeah, that's what
it needs to be a co-joint account.
That is the cuckiest thing you could possibly do. It's like, don't worry, baby, I got your OnlyFans.
It has to be a collaborative effort. It can't just be one.
We will open a joint bank account, and when we sit down in front of the banker, they'll say, "So are you looking to like put in a down payment for a home, or like what's this joint account for?"
We need $5 a month, man.
We need we're gonna both slide in $250 a month. Just so we can see our friend's dick.
Yeah, in a funny situation.
Like,
you think I use googly eyes fun now? Just wait. Put them everywhere. Wait, you can't use hot glue? Super glue just made it crusty. What do we do?
Are you gonna do like the circle thing for Scotch tape when you're trying to put up signs?
Oh my god, Gorilla Glue just hardens. This doesn't work.
Oh my god. You're gonna be like the Gorilla Glue in the hair.
You basically get scalped.
Are you gonna so for your pubes? Are you gonna do a center part like an e-boy? Get little pinch on like cross earrings with your nuts.
Is it cultural misappropriation if I turn my pubes into dreads? If I cornrow my pubes, is that not okay, or do I have to steer clear of
If you
that?
can cornrow your pubes, I'm gonna be so fucking impressed. Would you get like extensions?
It hurts so bad. They do it so tight. When you were starting off with the pubes, like, oh yeah, I'll draw like the funny shapes and stuff, and like the fuck me in really weird lighting. Yeah. But that just parting it in the middle with like hair gel.
Your sponsorships are going to be so crazy.
Oh my god.
Well, that's the easiest sponsorship Fleshlight's ever done, right?
Yeah.
It'll be Joe Rogan and then you.
Joe Rogan made a fleshlight?
No, he was sponsored by Fleshlight for like the first
Oh my God.
couple years that his podcast was running. So whenever he'd have a guest on, he'd be like, "Do you want a Fleshlight? I've got like 1,000 of them."
Oh
Yeah,
my
Fleshlight was one of
God.
Joe Rogan's first sponsors, and he just
That's
released his 2,000th episode.
Good for him.
It was really good.
Speaking of like fleshlights and like sex toys, there's a guy, because like I dive into the H3
Delved.
podcast because like I'm involved with the cast and everything. It's like a TV show now, because like Ethan will say a bunch of like very controversial shit and has to like
Yeah, because
always
he's
walk
autistic.
Yeah, he's also got Tourette's, so it's like I don't want to rely a lot on a crutch, but it's also like he doesn't quite learn right away, being like, hey, I may have said to bomb an institution, but I didn't mean it. It's like,
Yeah,
okay,
I get that.
I get it.
Yeah.
We all hate the what are they called over there with the gun control? And
The NRA, the
That's
National
them.
Rifle Association.
them.
I
Yeah.
love the NRA.
Yeah, he's just like, we gotta bomb the convention, and everyone was like, that's a threat. You shouldn't. That's no good.
Yeah, you can't Jake Paul it and like, it's just a joke, bro.
Just a prank, bro.
It's just a prank.
We're bringing it back.
Uh,
Where did this come from? The podcast, Joe Rogan, Fleshlight. They had a guy on whose name was Hunger FF, and he does anal prolapses, and that's the type of porn he does. He extends his anus outside of his body, and he made a 3D model fleshlight of his prolapse. It looks so weird.
oh my god, who is that for?
The community. It's the same people who want to fuck feet.
Well,
Well, it's same idea, not the same people. People who
Right.
fuck feet don't want to touch prolapses.
well, well, did you hear the breaking news about fartographs?
What the fuck is that?
Where
How
you
do
can take a piece of culture, like a petri dish, and you can fart on it, and it creates an image of like the fart pattern. And now they're
Right.
gonna start selling fartographs.
That's so funny, because like they used to fart in cans, they used to pee in bottles and sell them like the e-girls and stuff.
Like
and
gamer
now,
girl bathwater that
Yeah.
gave a bunch of people herpes, I think.
yes, and now they're gonna be farting on petri dishes, and then people are gonna be like, "That's a nice pattern."
Which is on like, it's the, you know how like everything has a sexual side, like furries have a sexual side.
Yeah,
like
but
that.
they're also a community.
When are we going to get to the bestiality side of that, where now animals are farting on fartographs and people are now buying those, and who's running that? Oh god, I don't want to talk about this anymore.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the logistics of like anything to do with an animal that is now sexualizing it. That's why I'm still trying to talk to people in the furry community, be like, hey, where's the line here in the sexual
I can
concept?
tell you.
I get it's a submissive thing, but why do you have to associate it with an animal?
It's not a submissive thing completely.
What is it?
It's an identification thing.
What do you
It's a
mean?
way to... Okay, I think of furries as like superheroes.
Okay.
It's... So when you're a child, and probably now, you like play pretend. You have to step outside of yourself into this persona that's that is not easily, but that is already defined.
Okay, so an animal. That's what I'm trying to...
That can be an animal or a fursona, a persona that you've created, because it's easier for you to create personas.
But why of an animal? That's where I get lost every time. It could have made your own persona of a different person that doesn't exist.
Because
So it's
that's
not
called
yourself.
multiple personality disorder, and those personas are usually forced upon you. Well, sometimes
But
not really.
then-
But an animal, imagine if you weren't liked, and you walked into a room and everybody liked you.
Okay.
If a dog walked around the corner right now, your first reaction would be,
Happy.
I fucking love this dog, man! That's what people want.
Okay.
They want, and animals are a way
That
for
is
take the
a new
sexuality out of it.
Yes,
Take
that's
the sex
a
out
new
of it.
perspective. I just the big thing where I can't cross over is like the idea of coming in and saying, yeah, like I like this thing because it's something that reminds me of something happy.
Yeah.
But why did it have to be an animal? Because then it gets associated with the sexual aspect, which is a huge thing. Even if you take it out of it, it's like it's still a humanoid dog.
So here's the fun part. Everything has a sexual component to it.
Oh, obviously. I could
everything from the beginning of time. But everything always has a component of everything within it.
Okay.
I'm going to clap right now because I'm about to say a whole bunch of like sciencey shit.
Okay.
And if you want to edit it right out, you can. So, everything has a component of everything. You were talking about how the transgender individual was being yelled at from the man and having their life threatened.
Right.
Everybody's life's threatened in every single community. It's not just in black communities. It's not just in Hispanic communities. It's not just in furry communities. It's not just in any one community. No one community is on fire more than another community. There are Hawaiian people getting raped and pillaged, and there are African people getting poached and getting scalped, and there are Mexican people getting deforested or whatever. Everything is always happening to everyone all of the time.
Right.
It's whatever you put your focus on is what makes it more impactful for you.
Okay.
So with this, now we can move forward knowing that having furries become sexualized is not new.
Right.
Having dragons be sexualized is not new. Having ants be sexualized,
Dragons have always been sexualized.
not new. Right? Having you be sexualized, having me be sexualized, having that fucking cardboard box be sexualized.
You could put a hole in it.
You can put a hole in it. Boom. There's already a hole in it down there. So everything, because everything is always impacted by everything all at once. Not the movie. That was bad.
Okay.
It means that depending on the lens and the perspective in which you take to it, that is what becomes your reality. Because your perspective is your reality.
Right.
Because whatever you perceive exists. And whatever you don't perceive doesn't exist. Because you can't perceive everything all at once because you're not omnipotent, like...
Our brains don't work that well of a computer, yeah.
Our brains barely work in the third dimension.
Yeah.
Let alone the fifth dimension, or a dimension in which we can perceive, where I can perceive you both as a 2D image, but also behind you. Or
Right.
I can perceive a concept as one perspective and then another perspective. That's why we have a two-party political system, or a multi-party political system. That's why everyone has an opinion on something, and that's why nobody sees the same two colors that are the same.
Yes. Oh, fuck.
That's fucking crazy, though.
Well, we'll leave that one.
We'll leave that one. And that's why I can't prove to you fully and completely my view, because you'll never understand my view in the way that I do.
Because of the information that you've been able to take in through different outlets and different things, because everyone has their own issues always happening all at once. Yes.
We're always receiving information.
So I will continue to believe
that
furries are into bestiality, because that's my perspective.
That is your perspective. And yes, a small subject of furries are into bestiality, but do you know the largest population of furries are...
Swedish.
Asexual autistics.
Oh.
Asexual autistics. It's insane how many of them don't want to have sex at all with anything or anyone, and don't understand. And the original definition of autism was actually a communication definition, where it was your inability to communicate emotions. You could feel emotions, but you couldn't communicate them. Right? I couldn't say that I'm happy. I don't know why you're this way. I don't know why you're that way.
So they put on
Not
a tail
that I
to wag
can't
it.
think about it, but I just can't say it.
Right.
So imagine if you grew up awkward and you didn't know how to communicate something, and nobody really liked you, and you didn't really have a father figure that was supportive or a mother figure that was maternal and supportive, and you didn't have this way and this guidance and this path to be able to create this complex individual that loved things fully and was loved by lots and had great development and had goals and dreams and aspirations and were learning and mastering things.
I get it. I'm privileged.
Yeah. Privilege is hilarious. So now you have this thing that you can draw and that becomes real to you. My fursona, my furry thing this is Delilah. She likes fucking dandelions and airplanes. She likes laughing at cows sleeping because they snore, and she likes water features. She fucking loves waterfalls.
Who's your friend?
Fursona.
I get it, but this seems like you know somebody.
No.
It's Eric's persona.
This is my new fursona that I've made, Delilah. So, based off of the song Hey There, Delilah, where you can create this...
What's it like in a furry city, wearing costumes, wagging tails, and talking how life is really shitty? Yeah. That really worked
Because
out.
sometimes life is really shitty, and that's why
Yes.
humans love... The brain is meant to simplify, but the heart is meant to make things as complex as possible, because they want to love everything from every angle.
Right.
So now I get to choose how complex this creation of myself is. My fursona can be... I've seen fan fictions of fursonas that are like 7,000 pages long.
Everything happened all at once.
But I've also asked somebody a question of like, hey, what is your fursona like? And they're like, my fursona likes art, but only when it's painted in blue. They can be as complex or as simple as the person who wants to understand that. And individuals who live a tortured life where they can't fully understand things, where they don't know why things happen, are able to fully grasp something, are able to fully understand something from beginning to end. And if somebody asks them a question that they're like, my persona's never interacted with that, so they don't need to know that, and they don't need to exist in a world in which that exists.
Got it. So they can pick and choose out of that secondary life that they create for themselves what is and isn't okay for them to have to process.
So now that's where the fursuit comes in.
Gotcha.
Now they can embody this
and not have to be themselves.
Not have to be themselves, because humans are like life, and they're infinitely complicated.
Yes.
They are so complicated, it is stupid.
Speaking of human life...
You got piss?
No, I'm just trying to figure out what to clip this next piece. Is fucking an alien bestiality?
No, and I love this question.
Okay, let's dive into this one. Why is it not bestiality?
So first you got to define an animal.
Okay.
What's an animal?
Us. Everything.
Everything is an animal? Is a tree an animal?
Everything that has a blood flow.
Did you know trees have xylem and phloem, which are veins within the tree that move water?
Sap and water.
And water and food
Sugars,
and stuff and
yes.
nutrients, and most plants have that. So an animal, let's say an animal we're also animals.
Yes, we are defined as an animal.
So an animal is a living creature that can mate with itself, can grow to a set point, because plants can grow infinitely.
Right.
They can't get too big for themselves. Or they break.
Yeah.
And I'm not a biologist, but I love this question. And animals are able to mate within themselves, but also kind of span out a little bit. Okay. Right? Like, a fish can't fuck an elephant, but two fish can kind of get together and maybe make a new fun fish.
Gotcha.
And they can evolve to create newer and greater things over long periods of time, right. I guess. So, an alien is not a plant or an animal or bacteria, right? The three things.
So,
animal, bacteria.
If this is going to the point where the sense where defining bestiality is having intercourse with something that cannot consent as an animal, whereas an alien, if it has the ability to communicate, I'm gonna stick this in you, then is that now acceptable?
Well, I think...
Or does it or is bestiality just have to be out of species, so like no longer interspecies but external species?
I think bestiality needs two things. It needs to be cross-special, or it needs to be going from the beginning point needs to be a human. That's where bestiality starts.
Okay,
you can have reverse bestiality, right? If I get raped by a horse, it's not bestiality
because they don't have
it's death. Yes, because they don't have any sort of like understanding that I'm a human and they need to have sex
laws.
with this
Horses
human.
don't have laws.
Right, and bestiality is a law created.
Horses are lawless.
Horses. The outlaw horse. Yee to the haw. Do you know horses have fingers when they're born?
I don't like that.
Neither do I, but it's so cool. They're born because they're born with hooves, so their hooves don't like break the mother's like womb lining. They have like long fingers that keep the hoof under cover, and then when they're born, the fingers dry up and they fall off.
That's wild.
I don't want to show you them, but they're weird.
That's fuck.
So now the aliens need to view us as animals, so they need to lump us all together to be animals.
Okay.
Now, are we having sex with the aliens, or are we the top or the bottom in this alien sex ritual?
Or is that, because I feel like that goes to a point where now it's like there's a top and a bottom, but which one is the more intellectual? Because if one has a definition of it, like you said, if we're the horse in this situation, then it's not bestiality, because we wouldn't know the difference. Their form, but the thing is, how sentient do they have to be before they're now considered the above class of human? We are now an animal.
Right. That's difficult.
So I guess it's situational.
Yeah, I've met some pretty stupid bottoms, but I've also met some pretty stupid tops.
Yeah. Okay, so if the alien's on top,
but we have
it's
to
not
assume they're
bestiality.
smarter because they're able to achieve intergalactic travel.
And they can make it here, where we can barely get out of our own orbit.
Right, we can't put living things out of our solar system. That's not happening.
No.
That's not happening for a very long time.
No, until the revolution happens.
And we either have to travel faster or live longer.
Yep.
And we're living longer, but not long enough to travel
to longer
as
distance.
slow as we do.
Like, I think it was to get to the next and most inhabitable place in our solar system, or the next solar, like it is a different solar system over. It would have to be 8 generations.
Oh my god.
Inside a spacecraft. So not us or our children, not their grandchildren, but the great grandchildren would be the ones to set foot on this new possibly habitable planet. And then at that point there's that intergalactic conversation of, like, let's say 4 generations down the line, these people have never been to Earth, they've never seen what Earth looks like, and they're like, are we actually doing what we're doing,
and are they human?
Not at that point.
Because if they're born on Mars, they're Martian.
And if they're born in space, they're Spatian.
There's an
E.T.
There's an amazing study on monkeys. It's the generational monkey study, and It's amazing. So, 8 monkeys in a room. Rope in the middle of the room hanging from the ceiling. At the top of the rope, there's a piece of food.
Okay.
Monkey 1 climbs up the rope to get to the food. All the other monkeys are on the ground. When the monkey hits the top of the rope to get the food, all the monkeys on the ground are sprayed with cold water. And the monkey that got the food comes down, and the monkeys are like, why did we get sprayed with cold water?
Yeah.
Monkey 2 climbs the rope. All the monkeys on the ground sprayed with water. Cold water. Very cold. Why are we getting... Monkey 3 climbs the rope. They all get sprayed with cold water. Wait a minute, guys. If a monkey climbs that fucking rope, we get sprayed with cold water. Monkey 4 goes for the rope to beat the shit out of that monkey. You're not climbing this rope because we get sprayed with cold water if you climb that rope. Monkey 1... Monkey 4 that went to climb the rope got beaten.
Right.
Sees Monkey 5 going for the rope. I couldn't climb the rope.
I'm gonna beat his ass.
Gonna beat his ass.
Okay.
Then the monkey 1 is now replaced with a new monkey. Doesn't know the rope, doesn't know the water, doesn't know anything.
Gotcha.
Monkey 6 goes to climb the rope. Everyone's sprayed with water. They beat the shit out of that monkey. They slowly start replacing monkeys. Then they remove the rope. Or sorry, they don't remove the rope. The rope stays there. Now, all of these monkeys have never touched the rope, but they know if somebody goes for that rope, they need to beat the shit out of that monkey. But they don't know why.
But they don't know why, because the original monkeys who went and got the food and understand what touching the rope did to everyone else.
So now, your grandbaby 6 inside this spaceship. you barely know English, because how are you going to teach English? Or you barely know the language that we left with.
Right.
Because
it's going to be Mandarin.
It's fucking Mandarin. Because we can't contain enough knowledge within this ship. I don't know how big the ship is to be able
have to be like
to be able to educate the grand scheme of human knowledge to this individual. You're inbred to shit.
And that's why it would have to be a massive ship. It would have to have almost an entire, like, there's got to be a base model of like 1 million or something people, because you'd have to have each phase of our societal generations on that ship. You would need children to teach. You would need to have the teenagers to go and do like the smaller jobs that you normally do if you're trying to keep the same society, unless you were doing the perfect like social
experiment.
Yeah, well, social. What's the word? It's not a. It's like it's an ism. Socialism. Fucking me, Jesus.
Perfect socialism.
Yeah,
yep.
So you have to have a perfect socialism where everyone has a specific role that has to be played no matter what. You have to do that job, and you're going to be doing the same thing, same pay, same food for everybody, even if your job is harder than everyone else's. Yeah. And you need to do that in every step of those lives, all the way up to like, we're not. I'm just going to say it now. If you're 65 and on that spaceship, you're
fertilizer.
You're fertilizer now.
Yeah.
Because there's no such thing as retirement on that form of trip.
You got that Tibetan sky funeral, you're going to get eaten by those fucking vultures, baby. You become useless.
Yeah, because on a situation like that, like, there's no extra resources, unless it gets to the point where, like, it's built to do that, but no one's going to be like, we're going to expend these resources to have the seniors go on a vacation. No, we're trying to get on another planet, goddammit.
Yeah.
It's not ageist, it's science.
It's yeah. And then when they show up, how are we going to get the message back that they landed? And what happens if they land on the inhabitable planet, they open up the door, and they're eaten by a fucking bird or
dinosaur, a big fucking alien dinosaur.
That would suck so hard after like 1,000-year-long journey with multiple generations and millions of people. But then
there's a show about that somewhere.
Oh, for sure. But then are we going to have the China issue where, like, are we going to have population restriction? This is a huge question.
On the spacecraft, yes. Everyone would, only certain people would be entitled to, like, this gets into eugenics. There's a whole bunch that goes into it because
it gets nasty real quick.
Yeah, because if you have the chance of, like, even to get on that spaceship, you would have to have almost perfect genetics to, like, almost to a T. And they would have to have the right graphing system to be like, all right, in your line of family and in your lineage, there's a potential for lupus, for cancer, for whatever. And if you're on the spaceship and you start dying,
right?
Goodbye.
What if they find in Generation 2 that there may be precursors for a mutation that's going to affect Generation 6 and make sure that Generation 6 doesn't get born, because Generation 6 is going to have a proclivity to social isolation and cancer.
Yes.
Uh-oh.
So everyone needs to be, like, their genetic code has to be pre-assembled as an, like, essentially you'll have to, like, dry freeze embryos.
You just got incubate that shit.
Exactly, and just have it all frozen so when you're ready, you can have these people who are designated birthers and these people who are, like, now going to be inseminated with two different people's genetics inside them, which has now been paired and matched and altered perfectly to be born on the ship.
Have you seen Interstellar?
Yes.
It's the best movie ever. That's all. So, yeah.
You know the 5 people on the ship? Now we'll do 1 million.
We'll do 1 million. And we'll make sure that the coffins don't cook them after we're done. That was a wild plot point. Wow. How long have we been going? 3 hours?
About 1 hour and 20.
Whew. Do you have to be somewhere? Do we have to wrap this up somehow? Because I can ask you one final question.
You can ask me that.
Fucking dip.
Yeah, because I got to get Dana food at some point.
Yeah. What came first, the chicken or the egg?
Oh, I know this one. I feel like you're going to try to trick question me. It's the chicken egg, but the chicken X and chicken Y came before that egg.
The concept of the egg is 100 million years old. Eggs were way before chickens to any degree. Dinosaurs were probably laying eggs.
Oh, like the idea of chickens. So it's the chicken.
So it's not.
You did still trick me because it's still the chicken
It is.
egg or the chicken.
No, it's the egg or the chicken. It's not the
egg,
chicken's
the egg 100% by thousands, millions of
millions and millions of years. It's a fun question. But also, if you wanted to say the chicken or the chicken egg, you would have to say
chicken egg.
Because
the chicken couldn't have made a chicken egg without chicken X and Y.
And then the mutation that finally made the chicken need to occur in the egg, not in the chicken that laid the egg.
Yes.
Because the thing that laid the egg wasn't a chicken.
Yeah, two different not chickens made a genetic mutation that was passed into the chicken.
It's like Adam and Eve.
Yes.
They weren't human.
No.
But Cain and Abel were.
Right.
Because they were the first things born of human.
Yes. I always found that story so interesting as how they got the how they learned about that. Other than it's like, imagine the biggest, longest game of telephone. Because Adam and Eve didn't know how to write shit.
Not at all.
Cain and Abel didn't know how to write shit. They was still like the ooga booga phase. It was like we just got kicked out of the garden because the higher being said, you ate the fucking what?
Which is wild because God threw Adam and Eve in this place, or threw Adam in this place, and then made Eve because Adam was like, I want to fuck
was
some. Was it the other way around?
No, Adam.
Start with Adam. Yeah. And then the first thing that God said to Adam was, yo, name all this shit. I know you don't have a language. I know you don't got anything. You name it. And then when Eve bit the apple, what did Adam do?
Did the same thing. Listen to his wife.
She ate the apple, God. It's not my fault.
Fucking snitched.
She did it all.
Snitched.
Don't blame me for what she did. It's so good.
Oh, so yeah, in the sense of identifying on who you are, like if you're like, bi, straight, gay, whatever, I identify as a Christian, but god damn it, is there so many holes that I see.
Oh my god, yeah.
All my TikTok feed is now is like some comedy, a lot of like alt goth chicks, and then conversations on disproving any type of religion and just being like, here's all the holes of the things that you're shitty about other people about. Like, we're gonna pack you in, tell you to read your own book, and then be like, stop hating people, you piece of shit.
So to me, religion is like a plane.
Okay.
I have no fucking idea how it works. I don't know how they started. I don't know where it's going. I don't know why anything. I don't know why there's so many people on this plane.
Full circle. Could you land a plane?
Could you land a plane? I don't want to land this Jesus plane.
I don't know about this Jesus plane. I can't land this one.
But it helps me get where I'm trying to go. And if I have questions that I have no business trying to ask.
I just send the message to the pilot and hope for the best.
And I hope for the best, because JC's flying that shit straight to the sun.
He's going somewhere.
Woo!
All right. I guess this is where we ended. All right. Do you guys think you could land a plane? Answer yes or no in whatever comments I put this in.
Yep.
If your answer is yes, you better be a certified fucking pilot.
Which is amazing. Keep doing what you're doing.
But for the rest of you idiots, don't fucking do it.
Don't try to land a plane. Come on.
Tony's gonna love this one. He actually watches all the podcasts.
He does?
Yeah, Tony's like, the reason Tony's super good is because like he'll support no matter what anybody does. So like his brother. All right, we're gonna. Bye, Tony.
Bye, Tony. Our